Welcome to the Too Busy to Eat Show. I'm Greg Zaffalato, the host of the show and also the founder of Too Busy to Eat, the protein bar company. So today we have Melanie Folstad on the show. She is the creator of Clean Little Plates. It's an amazing and influential community through Instagram. And basically she's helping thousands of people feed their kids and get creative ways on getting vegetables into their diet, healthy food in their diet, getting natural whole foods in kids' diets when, as parents, we know that's very difficult. So Melanie is a great interview. I'm excited to share the information she has with you. Before the interview or after the interview, you can check out toobusytoeat.com. Check out the website of my protein bar company. Let me know what you think. Try the bars, take a look. There's information with the podcast and YouTube show on there. So I'd love for you to visit the site, toobusytoeat.com. If you order products, use the coupon code TBTE Show, and get 20% off your first order. It's great. All right, now for the interview. Let's get to Melanie. Well, welcome, Melanie. I'm so excited to have you on the Too Busy to Eat show. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I know. That's great. And I'm so impressed. Like I was talking about you, Clean Little Plates, your Instagram account. It's fantastic. You provide so much good information. It's so fantastic. So I'm excited to have you on the show because you're influencing a lot of people, and now you get to share that with even a different audience, which is great.
Amazing.
Now, I would love to hear more about your journey. Obviously, we want to know, how did Clean Little Plates get going? But what's your background to get you to where you are today?
Sure. Yeah. So I would say that I really became passionate about healthy living and healthy eating when I was in university about 12 years ago.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that I was mentally in the healthiest place. I feel like women can really have a tendency to want to be healthy, but it's kind of the wrong reasons. And,
Right.
A mental perspective of almost restricting food versus embracing it and exercising out of self-hate, not even hate, but critical about yourself rather than loving yourself and wanting to strengthen your body.
Right.
And so I feel like I was more so there when I was younger. But growing up a little bit, I learned a lot about myself and what dietary things worked for me and didn't. And I also just I feel like I got a more balanced approach about wellness and understanding food as nourishment and exercise to feel good rather than because you'll feel bad about yourself if you don't. So that was where my healthy journey has taken me, right?
Yes. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So then having kids also was very humbling because my body changed a lot and that surprised me. And I worked really hard, but it wasn't quite as easy to have the figure. I always just kind of have been fit and I haven't had to worry really my metabolism of things. But it was all of a sudden like, okay, this is a little bit different. And I don't have the time that I used to spend on working out and making healthy meals. Now I'm really busy.
Yeah.
So so it was just finding new ways to incorporate all the healthy eating and the healthy living. And I feel like it's brought me to a really good place of loving myself and nourishing myself and understanding food better and what it does for our bodies.
That is awesome. And so that journey, gave you a background understanding in food and nutrition and exercise and being a healthy, not just physically, but also mentally, the right approach to it. Now, and you had kids came along, obviously, and then how did Clean Little Plates get started?
So that was just, so the way that I was feeding my kids, like that account is so sustainable for me because it's real life. I'm not
you're doing
something for the camera. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you see my stories, definitely real life. So it was just me packing daycare snacks. And I had a few moms be like, whoa, like, how is your kid eating that? They were taking pictures of my kids eating spinach salads and things. They couldn't believe it. And it was just so I was blending a spinach salad at 8 months for my daughter because that's what I made for dinner. And I didn't want to make 2 dinners. Right. So it was kind of born out of convenience, even though convenience foods are not the foods that I'm feeding in people's minds. Right.
Right.
But most convenient thing is whole family food. And I just think like whole foods for the whole family. And so my sister said, why don't you just start an account or something, a foodie account for kids? And I was like, yeah, that would be easier than like texting recipes to 5 people.
Right.
And within a week I had 45 followers, and I couldn't believe it. And that was huge for me. So,
that's more than texting 5. You have 45. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah. Yes. And I never honestly anticipated, I didn't create it with an anticipation to build something. It's just kind of picked up, and I've realized that moms want ideas and they also need encouragement, because that's what I feel that people benefit from as much as my healthy ideas. I think that they just need to hear that they're doing a good job.
Yeah. It's a tough, I have kids. I know, it's a very tough job with a lot of pressure. A lot of people can, whether it's relatives or friends or whatever, kind of looking at what you're doing. Yeah. There's a pressure.
It's true. And if anyone's busy, a mom is busy. So the idea of spending time in the kitchen, it's just not possible. And I get it. So Now, so what are some of, you're very, like I mentioned already, you're very active on Instagram. It's not an Instagram account. It's a community. There's definitely, relationships forming, information being shared obviously by you, but also other people. It's great. Yeah. What are some of the most common questions or concerns people bring to you through your account? I think the most common one is, how do you get your kid eating that? My kid would never eat that.
Right.
Do they actually eat that? Things like that.
Yes. Do they really eat this? Yeah. So what's that secret for you? How did you, I know you started early, because 8 months are doing, Yeah,
and I would say that I limit convenient snacks. I limit processed foods. And so, because I really feel like when you're competing with processed foods, your home cooked meals really aren't going to stand a chance, because super natural, super stimulating flavors that they're getting from those things really make fun for whole foods.
It's very difficult. Yeah.
And then I also, I just think there's just tactics of offering it, like offering some new things with some things that they love, so that it's not an intimidating, just little things. And of course, setting the healthy example yourself, and they see you, we're with them all day when they're really young. And we set a really healthy example for them in what we eat.
Right. And that modeling is really important. But I think you got to put the 2 and 2 together, because some people will model well, but they'll like you said, they'll fix 2 different meals, 2 different lunches, 2 different dinners. And that's a tough, it makes it even hard
to sustain. And my number one thing is probably just bringing the kids into the kitchen with you and letting them feel and touch the food. It's less intimidating at dinner time. They were a part of making it. They want to taste what they made, and it's fun.
That's a great step. Yeah. A great step. Making them part of the process. Yeah, they feel ownership of that.
Messy.
Yes, I'm sure it's messy, and it's maybe a little bit more time consuming. But you're not just making food; you're bonding. It's an activity. You're bonding and growing that closeness in the process.
Oh, definitely! It's so much fun.
Yeah. Now, do you have a particular? I know you obviously Whole Foods is a philosophy or a emphasis, but do you have a kind of nutrition philosophy you follow?
We aren't vegetarian and we are not vegan, even though so many recipes on my page are plant-based. But my purpose in that more so is that if the meal is plant-based, then the kids are eating vegetables no matter what part of the meal that they're eating. And I don't often hear that my kid just won't eat cheese, or my kid just won't drink milk. And so it's the vegetables that are harder to get in. And so that's why I kind of focus on those things. I don't particularly have anything against meat or dairy or anything. My son has an intolerance, so that's why I steer clear of dairy. I have a gluten intolerance. But overall, I think it's just less processed foods, and it's just real food. And that's really it.
Real food. Yes. And that's great. If you stick to that real food and less processed or not processed, you do the processing by cooking it or chopping it and all that. That's a very healthy, it's hard to really go wrong, and it's,
Yeah. Refined sugar free. I would say that's like definitely, I just don't have sugar in the house, and we eat treats and delicious things all day long. So,
but not refined sugar. Yeah.
nope.
I would agree. I think that's more and more it's coming out, and the truth is about sugar is being revealed, but it is enemy number one to our health, and it's great. It's great. And we need to start like you're doing, educating people and starting with our own families, not giving them all this refined sugar and processed foods.
Yeah.
That's great. So now, do you have, you mentioned, exercise. Is that part of your routine personally too? Exercising? Yeah. What do you do in your busy, doing the things you do with educating people, interacting with people, raising your kids? What do you find time to do, and how do you get that in?
Yeah, so I love group fitness, like strength training with an instructor.
Yes.
And so my husband knows that it makes me just a more patient and gracious mom. And so he kind of helps me care about that time. Saturday mornings is like my time.
Yeah.
And I actually work outside of the home as well, 3 days a week. And so while I have childcare, I'll try to, at the end of my work day or at the beginning, try to tag on a workout. I like to do it when my kids aren't around, but I also do it sometimes a home workout, and they can just kind of join me and do some little tiny push-ups.
That's modeling and showing, living the right lifestyle and rubbing off on your kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's it's fun when the kids join in and they see, and then they get the same, because there'll be waves of they'll go through rebellious stage, but in the end, as they move on their own, they have that background of knowing that exercise is important, but that the whole food, real food is so important for your health, and it will come through, even though it might phase in and out.
My kids love like treats, and they see Starbucks, the case of things at the front, and they want all those. And my daughter gets those with her dates with her dad. Like we aren't restricting things.
Sure.
My kids are not on it. It's just that when I can influence them at home, I'm going to influence them as best as I can.
Yes, that's it. And that's it's hard, I found as my kids went, they got out of the house into elementary school, and then now my daughter's in middle school. They have so many choices, but you have to lay the foundation. You have to control the house and not worry so much about all the other, because if you have most of your food through the house, 80% or more what they're getting is really good.
Right. And I mean, raising a girl too, I'm really aware of, I don't want to create a negative relationship with her and food. And
yes.
Making her feel that she can't have something can have implications down the road that I'm well aware of. So it's really, I haven't figured it out. Like it's a journey for me too.
But that's part of why what you're doing with Clean Little Plates is powerful, and why people are latching onto it is because you're authentic, you're real, you're trying to help people. And it's funny, you started like, well, how can I help? I can text recipes to people. Well, it's just, your heart is there, and it's right. And that's why people grab onto it. It's great. That's really neat. Is there a future? Is there plans down the road? I mean, you're impacting a lot of people now, but is there a little future for Clean Little Plates?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like a cookbook is a dream, but finding time to post and interact in this community feels like all I have room for on my little plate. So
it's
a dream, I would say, to have a cookbook, because a lot of people ask me for that. Can I get your recipes everywhere in one spot? And I would love to, and I would be honored to have a little voice on their bookshelf that they can pick up and be encouraged with ideas and love for me.
I mean, you've done a lot of the hard work, because you've created, you've created the recipes and you've created the different ideas. I know it is a bigger step of putting it all together, but you're a big portion already there, because you have.
Thank you.
I just talked to somebody and sorry, we had a little blip in the internet. I just was interviewing somebody several days ago that had the same journey. They were influencing people And then so people were asking, put it together. So they started the ebook, and then the ebook got more and more popular. And then actually a publisher approached them, and then next thing they knew, they had a cookbook going. So maybe a little ebook, a little unofficial ebook that's a PDF, and then you can go over there. I would get it because I love ideas for my kids. Yeah.
I'll give you a free copy. So.
Oh, thank you. So what are some of the biggest hurdles do you see? Of having healthy eating kids. Having them eat healthy. What are some of the biggest hurdles you see out there?
I would say the kid marketing in the food industry, that everything that's offered that's fun for kids is definitely not most nourishing option.
Right.
They're healthy are like, there's nothing fun on the box except for a little bit of text that you have to go home and do something with.
Yes.
And then I would also say the time crunch. So it's, there's a bag of unpeeled carrots in the fridge, or there's a box of crackers. Like, what feels easier? Obviously, it's the snack that you can just grab. So being prepared plays a huge role. And if you're prepared, then the veggies and the fruits in your fridge are actually the fastest snack. You just have to give them a rinse and they're ready.
And prepare. So what are some of your tricks because that's been always the biggest hurdle for our family is when we're caught unprepared is when we make bad decisions. So what are some of your strategies? I mean, what are some of your strategies to be prepared?
I would say that I do a little bit of food prep rather than meal prep because I don't have a lot of time for meal prepping, but having food prep. And so if in the morning I can just peel some sweet potatoes and get them ready to bake, and I can just have meat thawed if we're doing meat, or just have a can of beans drained and have veggies chopped, then I can do something with that when I get home.
Yeah.
So it's just prepping veggies really that they can be cooked or eaten is like the main thing for me because everything else is easier to cook.
Yeah. So prepping. And do you do any, because I've heard this in the past of people doing like batch cooking or batch preparation, like on a Sunday do you do some of that?
Yeah, mine's not nearly as impressive as like a lot of the accounts make me feel kind of bad about myself. I'm like, all I did was roasted like 6 carrots and I thought it was amazing. But
everybody has a different, it's working for you though. So that's great.
Yeah, maybe like a double batch of quinoa or triple the quinoa and it sits in the fridge. Or I just done like overnight oatmeal lately because it's just eaten cold. It's actually super easy and no mess, no pots. So keeping it basic.
Keeping it simple. Yeah, I think the big hurdle a lot of times is people think they have to do it all perfectly or do it really big. And I think starting small by doing prep in the morning, do a little bit of prep in the morning and having things ready. So it's dinner's half done or almost done before even before the day starts.
Yeah, and I mean I give my kids crackers and those convenient snacks too. They're just on a tray among other things. And and I'm actually kind of working on like a little veggie challenge in my own home, and I'm going to bring it to little plates. Just to, kind of turning the idea on its head that vegetables are just for dinner time. I just tried putting grape tomatoes on my kids' breakfast plates with their toast, and they didn't even question it. And I thought, actually, you just get vegetables at any time.
And we need, and that's obviously that's what your account is focused on too, and that's a huge problem with people not getting the vegetables in their diet. So if you're trying to cram everything in dinner, it's tough. But if you spread them out throughout the day, the snacks and breakfast, that's great. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
So there's a mom out there or a dad that's out there and saying, okay, I'm living off processed foods. I want to get started, but they have the busy lifestyle like you live, like most of us are living. What's that one? Where do they start? What would your advice be to get them started in the right direction?
I would say to just make a point to buy some vegetables on the weekend, and before they go in your fridge, wash them and cut them before you store them. And I honestly feel like that will be a really easy snack. Who cares if you have to start by dipping them in ranch, whatever, just your kids eating vegetables. It's fine.
Just make it convenient. What is great about that is it's simple. All you do, buy the vegetables, do a little prep. What a simple step. And it's a huge step in the right direction. That's great advice. Yeah. Well, I love clean little plates. I love what you're doing. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. I know you're impacting a lot of people, and you're definitely going to impact this audience too. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.